This is Amateur Logic, episode 198, for October 18th, 2024. Amateur Logic is brought to you by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Keep your competitive contesting edge with ICOM. Greetings and welcome to the 19th anniversary extravaganza of Amateur Logic. I'm George.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Emil.
And I'm Mike.
God, I think I'm the only one that threw my hand up.
Yeah. 19 years. Can you believe it, Tommy?
19? Yeah. No, I can't believe it. I've said it before. I'm sure I'll say it again next year, but I never really thought we'd make it past like a few months of doing this. Now it's been 19 years. That's a lot of stubbornness right there, man. Too doggone stubborn to quit.
Yeah.
We haven't aged a day.
Hey, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Wow. Of course, we've been talking about the last few episodes. We're going to give away a prize package here tonight at the end of the show, so don't go away. Find out who wins that. It's going to be one really happy ham, though.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
I'm happy. No, Mike?
No.
Oh,
No, not you.
You try to pull that every year, Emil.
Oh, and one of the previous year's winners is in the chat room over there, WA0JTW, Cliff.
Yep.
We started this about the same time YouTube started. We didn't know it was going to be a thing. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have uploaded the lowest quality video known to man as a format.
Well, that's how you had to do it back when you had dial-up.
Yeah. We were running BitTorrents.
Yeah.
Well, let's get on into the show here. First up tonight, Emil, you had something that you wanted to mention here, a postponed event that is about to come true.
yeah. By any chance, is there any
You know,
thing you flop?
so you're saying there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a definite chance that the Slidell EOC Hamfest is going to be at the Slidell City Auditorium, since we got chased off by Francine on Friday, November the 15th and 16th, Saturday, over at the Slidell Auditorium. And yeah, there's some vendors coming there and forums, and so we're looking forward to that as usual. And there you go. There's the information on it. There's lots of stuff happening as usual, and it's usually a good turnout. Great venue at that new auditorium. So come check us out.
Yeah, you can learn more at w5sla.net/hamfest.htm.
I'm going to try to make that one.
Last month, you may remember I had a project, one I've been saving up parts for, I don't know, couple of 2 or 3 years. I converted a 700 watt power supply out of a PC to a bench supply, and it gave me 5 volt output and 12 volt output, and I put the meters in there and the banana plug binding post, the whole 9 yards, and it worked.
But you sound surprised. It worked.
Well, it did. It didn't do everything I wanted it to do. Last month on Amateur Logic, I talked about converting a PC power supply to a bench supply. And there it is. It works great if all you need is 5 volts and 12 volts. But what if you need something in between, or something a little more than 12 volts? I talked about adding a buck boost converter to it, but there's just not room enough in this case to hold one. So this month I'm going to do something about it. I did some searching online and decided my best option for this project, the ZK-5KX DC-DC buck boost converter. Now there's a variety of these out there that look identical. They're not all the same. This particular one I paid a little more for. It was $18.99 at the link for Amazon shown here. This one will convert from 0.6 volts all the way up to 36 volts. There's also a ZK4KX model that looks exactly like this one. However, it only goes to 30 volts and it won't supply as much current. The one I chose here will operate at 5 amps maximum current, and it has a fan on the rear on the heat sink. A number of the other cheaper models I saw would not carry that much current, were only 30 volts, and did not have the fan on the heat sink. So being that I had access to 50 amps at 12 volts here, I thought 36 volts, that would be good. 5 amps, that's about the most I could find in this style of buck boost converter. So I chose this model from the Jessamy store on Amazon. In my search for a manual, the closest I could come up with was this one right here from Parts Express for the VK4KX series. This one only goes to 30 volts, does not have the fan on the heat sink, supplies a little less maximum current, but the operating instructions are the same. You can find it right here at parts-express.com at the link at the bottom of your screen. I found me a little electrical box, and I've already done the cutting on it here using a Dremel tool. Had a faceplate for it that I cut a rectangle where I can mount the buck boost converter. This is a nice little plastic box. I think I must have gotten this one at Home Depot, or it could have been Lowe's. It was one of the two. I cut a hole out the bottom because this has got a fan on it and a heat sink, so it's going to generate a little heat. And I wanted to exhaust out the rear here, and hopefully it'll draw in enough fresh air that it won't run too hot. On the side here, I had another set of these 5-way binding posts. So I mounted that on there, and some wire from that PC power supply, put a couple of banana plugs on it. That's going to be my DC input to the buck boost converter here. And I'll just plug it into the power supply and to one of the 12 volt outlets there. This one's limited to 10 amps because that's all that meter will show. But if I needed more, I could go on the 50 amp side there. So 12 volts DC in. From here I can get from about 0.6 to 36 volts out at 5 amps. The trick is, although this is only 12 volts that's going to be supplying it, it's using a buck boost converter in there that operates like a switching power supply at, I believe, 150 kilohertz and creates its own DC signal at a higher voltage. It'll convert that 12 volts all the way up to 36, but it's got to have enough current to do that. Otherwise, it won't be able to make it. This supply should have plenty for that. There's a couple of sets of terminals. There's the voltage in, which I've connected here. The voltage out, which is going to the binding post on the side. And that's all there is to connect. Good tight fit there. And on the rear, the fan is right here at the edge, so I think that's going to work out fine. The wires are not protruding. I might stick a tie wrap on there just to hold it down tight. It took a little while to do all the whittling on this box, but using a Dremel tool with a cutoff wheel, it went fairly easy. And I had some of these old stress reliefs I had gotten from somewhere, so I just used that. The covering here on the wire came out of this power supply right here. So we're ready to go now. All we got to do is plug in our negative and positive. I'm going to plug it into the 10 amp side here since I don't plan on exceeding 10 amps there. Comes right up, and you can see I had left it at 24 volts earlier. It's not drawing any current, so it's showing 0 amps. Now to adjust the voltage, I'll hit the UI button here, and it flashes. I can turn the encoder, set the voltage I want, but if I want to go a little faster, I can press in on the encoder there, and now I can jump in bigger steps to get the voltage on down lower. Looks like 0.6 volts, like they said in the instructions, is going to be it. That's fine. Let's see how high it'll go. 36. And it's set here for a maximum of 5 amps before the protection circuit will kick in on it. This is one of my favorite old Radio Shack meters. And it is accurate. It measures real close to my fluke. Stick a couple of leads there on the output. 24 volts on the nose, 24 volts on the nose here. Drop it down 17 volts. 17 there. 5 volts. 5 volts there. Step the range down. Actually, well, yeah, 5 volts. So this is pretty accurate. Now, there is a good point about this. Through the combination of setting the buttons there and the instruction sheet that I found, you can actually go in and calibrate this if it is off a little bit. But this one arrived like this. I haven't done that. Now, what happens if we put a load on this? I'm going to disconnect my meter because we're thinking, yeah, the voltage we're getting here is correct. This is an 8 ohm, 20 watt non-inductive resistor. It's actually uses a load for testing audio amplifiers up to 20 watts. So it can heat up pretty quick. Take a set of leads here, connect to that. I don't want this to melt my pad, so I'm going to set it right up there over that fan. We're on 5 volts. Let's step it on up a little bit. Let's go to 10 volts. So 12.1 volts there on the input. 10 volts here. I'm going to plug in the load. Let's see what happens. Well, that immediately drops a little bit. 11.8, not too much. Drawing about 1.32 amps there. Looking here, we're still on exactly 10 volts and 1.207 amps. This thing is 88% efficient, so you can see we're 1.3 amps of current, 1.2 out. That's pretty good. Let's go to 24 volts. I'm not going to want to hold it there too long because that resistor is going to get hot. But let's see what happens as far as where the voltage on the power supply down here drops as opposed to what we've got coming out of the buck boost regulator here. Okay, 24 volts. We're drawing 7.63 from the supply. At 24 volts, we're supplying 2.9, so about 3 amps there, and it's staying right on 24 volts. Although the supply voltage dropped, this thing is regulating it exactly where we wanted it, so no complaints there. There are a ton of options that you can set with the 2 switches on here. You can set the output voltage. You can set a current limit, so it's a constant current, will not exceed that limit. You've got low voltage protection, maximum voltage protection, overcurrent protection, overpower protection, ultra capacity protection. It'll show you the ampere hours on here. If you want to use this for charging a battery, you get all kinds of information out of it. You can look at the wattage. It is 69.96 watts. So that's almost 100 watts on that resistor there. It's showing us 0.05 ampere hours. It's showing us that the supply has been on for 11 minutes. And we're drawing 914 amps. And then it's back around to showing wattage again. I can smell that resistor, so I'm going to stop. The resistor can take that. It can go up to 20 watts, so it can't take that long. 69 watts, yeah. You wouldn't want to run your 20 watt resistor at that wattage for very long. This seems to be exactly what I was hoping for. I got up to 5 amps output. I would like to have had something more than that, being I've got a 50 amp power supply. However, 5 amps is going to be enough for most stuff I want to do, and it's got all the features and functions that I wanted. So check it out, and do be aware, as I mentioned earlier, there's a variety of these out there that look exactly like this, and they probably function the same, but the voltage and current ratings are going to be different on it. And let me just mention that no resistors were harmed in the making of that segment.
Was it glowing red?
My finger was when I checked the temperature on it. It got toasty. 20-watt resistor gets kind of warm when you put 70 watts into it. I didn't hold it there that long. I was concerned, and I had another one of those resistors, so I measured the resistance of the one that I didn't use, and it was 8.3 ohms. I measured this one, and it was about 9 ohms. But after it cooled down, it was 8.3 ohms again. Oh. So it didn't damage it.
Does the voltage stay set until you actually get it dialed in and then click the encoder, or does it vary according to what you're seeing on the meter itself?
I didn't check that, and I should have.
Okay.
It says in the instructions that after you adjust it, you have to hit that button twice for it to store it. But now it may have increased it. I want to say it did, but I didn't check that. Another thing I wanted to check, and I forgot about because I was after midnight last night recording this, I wanted to hook a scope to it and see how much 150 kilohertz was leaking through. I don't know. It might have been fairly clean. You'd think that higher frequency, you could filter that out of a DC supply. So,
yeah, and that one that I had a few episodes back, I wanted to hook it up to a scope too to see what kind of ripple current came out of that thing, but I haven't had a chance yet.
Yeah, I'm going to do it and see how this one turns out, but I'm real happy with it so far. For what I spent with shipping, around $20.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And so it took that 12 volt or 5 volt and 12 volt supply and gave me a 0.6 to 36 volt.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And to get 5 amps, for that thing to handle 5 amps, that's pretty impressive.
Beware, as I mentioned, there are others that look exactly like that won't do 5 amps.
Right.
I'll have to look up the one I've got. Mine's not in the case like that. That's very nice, a contained unit like that. Mine's more like an open board. You could mount it in the case, but it's not like that.
I did a lot of searching, and I saw a lot like you're talking about, and some of them would go with more current, but they didn't have the interface where you could easily adjust the voltage. It had like potentiometers on the side that you would adjust the voltage and the constant current.
Yeah, mine's got 2 on the top, I think.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I looked at it. I'm going to have to dig it out when I get home and see. Andy says there's a link to buy it. Check his show notes after the show gets published this weekend, Andy. It'll be in there. AmateurLogic.TV/wiki. Yep.
DeMay mentioned he was asking about RFI and Ripple.
I didn't measure it. I plan on it, but I ran out of time and kind of forgot too. So I will be doing that. And if it does have bad RFI, I'm going to work on some filtering solutions, see what I can do. Probably should have put it in a metal box, so if I was thinking about that, but...
you can always change it.
Yeah.
I know a guy that's got a 3D printer, and I don't know if he's ever tried printing with metal filament before, but that might be a way to do it.
This guy that's got one hasn't ever tried it.
Or just glue some tin foil inside of it.
Yeah, or that I thought of using that tape that you use for sealing ducts.
I've got a roll of it.
HVAC. Yeah, that aluminum tape. Mm-hmm. That looks like it would probably do a good job because it's fairly heavy.
Yeah, it's very heavy. Well, Mike, you have a news item for us tonight.
it's kind of a hybrid system that are experimenting with that kind of combines some of the aspects of Wi-Fi along with LoRaWAN. Basically, it allows you to operate Ethernet over Wi-Fi over longer ranges, like LoRaWAN does. So there's quite a bit of reading in here, but it's very interesting. So if you check out the link there, and I've also got the QR code down there, but give it a read. It's pretty interesting. Because I guess that technique could be used for agricultural sensor networks and smart cities.
You've got an update on that other radio service you've been
Yeah,
playing
it's
with.
just a little follow-up on it. Last time I did a segment a couple months ago, showed you my process going through to get my GMRS license. I'm glad I got it, but honestly, it's been a little bit disappointing so far. But anyway, let's take a quick look at the radio. I ended up settling on the TID radio H3, I think it is. It's been okay little radio. It's nothing special. I got the GMRS version. You can get it Amateur Radio or GMRS one. Come to find out, it's actually the same radio. It just, you can actually hold down I think the push to talk and turn it on, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe another key in there involved too, and then you can pick if you want it to work with GMRS, amateur radio, or actually both. And I just got the GMRS one. The antenna comes with just a GMRS antenna, which is it's 460-ish megahertz. But this antenna, I'm not sure if you can see that, but it says it's good for 400 to 480 megahertz. So it will not work on 2 meters. You could replace it if you actually wanted to do that, but I've got better amateur radios. Got my Icom ID52 that I love. I use that a good bit. But anyway, it's illegal to use ham radios to transmit on GMRS and FRS frequencies. So I got one dedicated for that, just to stay legal. Can't have too many radios anyway, right? It's a nice little radio, I guess, for what it is. It's cheap. I got 2 of them for about $60, I think. Got one for my son to use. He has 0 interest in sitting down and learning to get his technician license for ham radio. So if we travel somewhere and go, like we went to Yosemite several years back before COVID, and the cell phones didn't work there in most of that park, so my wife and I used handy talkies. She's a licensed ham too. We used handy talkies to communicate when we weren't together. And so this way, if we do similar, my son will have a way to communicate with us if he goes with us. Because your whole family, immediate family, can operate under the same license. So I would be WSDR 379, and I guess he would too, when you ID. But the display, let's turn it on, take a quick look at it. The display is kind of interesting. It's kind of a black with white letters, or colored letters actually. And the battery comes with 1 battery. You can buy it with 2. I just got the one with 1. And the battery lasts incredibly long. It comes pre-programmed. When you set it up for GMRS, or the one I came was already set up, pre-programmed with the standard GMRS channels. So if you look at the channels here, it's on channel 16, 15, 14, 17. We have a local repeater here that's just on channel 17, so that would be the information with that. It should work because there's no tone on it. So, but we'll talk more about that in just a moment. One other nice thing about the little radio is it actually came with 2 of these little drop-in chargers. You can actually charge it with USB-C. There's a port on the bottom. I think you can see it right there where my little finger is. And there's actually another one on the side right there that you can actually program the radio with. The radio works with chirp, so you can add other channels in it pretty easily. It's not hard to put them in manually. I'm not going to do a review on the radio, just kind of a high level info about what I got. And as you can see, I got the airport, the CTAF, common traffic frequency in here, so I can hear planes coming over to land and take off over my house. So the airport's just about a mile this way.
So I listen to that a fair amount. The battery lasts incredibly long. If I scan like this, the battery will last about 3 days, 3.5 days, probably 8 to 10 hour days scanning. So I usually come in the morning and set it up there on my other computer, turn it on and start it scanning, and I listen to whatever comes around. That's the other part I was going to mention. It's a little bit disappointing. There's really been no traffic on GMRS at all. I hear some FRS stuff since they share the same frequencies. The FRS has the lower, I think the lower channels that the GMRS stuff has, but it's much lower power. But I hear children in the neighborhood talking to their mothers and arguing amongst themselves, out playing and checking on one another, going across the neighborhood, things like that. But I also hear the vet up here. There's several businesses on here that actually use it, I guess, for cheap business radios. They probably go to Best Buy or somewhere, Walmart, buy those little cheap FRS radios and use those, which is perfectly legal. But that's kind of about all I've heard. I have yet to hear anybody ID any call sign. I've got on there and called a few times to see if anybody could hear me, but never got an answer back from anyone. And the repeater is over by the airport. I'd have to look to see how far the crow flies, but it's probably 7-8 miles, I would think. It may be a little bit farther than that, but it's not really all that far. But anyway, I can't get into it, so I haven't heard anything on it. Can't hear it or anything either, so I'm not sure how much activity's on there. I'm pretty sure it's active because I emailed the guy that owns it and asked if it's okay to use it. And he said, sure, use it whenever I want to. It was open anyway, but just as a courtesy, I thought I'd check. But I'm kind of curious what kind of activity you guys are having in your area, if you have any at all. I never really expected it to replace ham radio. I thought it might be something else to listen to, but I still turn it on, listen to it every day, most every day, when I have my ham radio on back here. But just haven't heard much. And before you ask me if I've used an external antenna, I've hooked it up to my Discone antenna, which was a little disappointing for the reception of that. That's a whole nother story. And then I've hooked it up to my little diamond antenna that I've got hooked up to my 7100, and I still didn't hear anything else on it. So anyway, that's kind of my update. Probably the last thing I cover on GMRS unless I have some earth-shattering discovery. But anyway, curious to hear your experience with it. If you have a good experience, bad experience with it, let me know. But anyway, I'll catch you on the ham bands. 73.
73, Tommy.
Very
Get you on the ham bands.
party on, Tommy.
I noticed that.
Yeah, it's okay. The GMRS stuff's okay, I guess. It's just not much going on around here. Now, after I made that segment, we actually made it 2 months ago. You just didn't play it last month because some other things came up. But anyway, I took it to Gatlinburg, and I heard some people there, and I took it to Dallas with me one time just to see what I hear. And I heard some people on one of the repeaters there, so it's just here. It's not used at all. Like I said, never expected it to replace the ham stuff ever, because I'm ham through and through, but thought it'd be something else to listen to. But come to find out, there's really nothing to listen to unless you want to hear the kids arguing or find out who's picking up their dog from the boarding thing at the vet over there.
So, Emil, you had one of those from Slidell. Have you turned it on? Can you hear anything in your new location?
I cannot hear anything. One of the things I did notice from moving out this way in the country is my old digital scanner does work again. They haven't gone encrypted over here in my county.
We don't know about that in Mississippi yet, so keep it quiet.
Yeah, okay. So I'll keep it on the down low. But yeah, my one scanner works, but I haven't heard anything on the GMRS side at all since I left.
Then you likely won't.
You've got something to talk about on the Utes.
Yeah, yeah. The Utes are at it again. That's because my cousin Vinny reference. The next Youth on the Air camp for North Central and South America has been scheduled for June 15th to the 20th of 2025. Camp will be held in Thornton, Colorado, in the U.S. of A. And I think that must be a suburb of Denver. Camper application period will be open online December the 1st of 2024 at youthontheair.org, which will be in the show notes as well. Eligible youth are licensed amateur radio operators between 15 and 25. Up to 50 campers will be accepted. Priority will be given to the first-time attendees and to youth residing outside of the USA. Past campers may apply to be considered to serve as leaders during the camp. For details about the camp and or to sign up for updates by email, visit the camp webpage at youthontheair.org/Denver 2025. And like I said, that'll be in the show notes as well if you didn't get all that.
Keep your competitive contesting edge with ICOM. ICOM's high-powered base stations cut through pileups, letting you work the bands and record those contacts. Contest from the comfort of your home or remotely with the RSBA One app. Heard it, worked it, logged it. ICOM heard the call and answered. The ICPW2 is here. Take your contesting experience to the next level with ICOM's industry-first linear amplifier, which includes DPD, digital pre-distortion, and a built-in 2x6 automatic antenna selector for SO2R single-operator 2-radio operation. With the IC7610, faint signals are no longer challenging for DXers and contesters. This high-performance SDR radio changed the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. This high-powered base station features an RF direct sampling system, 110 dB RMDR that can pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals, an independent dual receiver, dual digicell, and more. This is the SDR every ham wants. For more information about ICOM's amateur radios and to locate a dealer, visit icomamerica.com/amateur today. For the love of ham radio. Thanks, ICOM, for sponsoring Amateur Logic.
Absolutely.
Speaking of ICOM, we're going to give away Tommy's radio here a little bit later.
Not Tommy's.
Not
You're
Tommy's.
prying that one out of my hands.
It looks like yours.
It looks a lot like mine. It does.
But we'll talk about that in just a few minutes here. But first,
This one has a new radio smell to it still, doesn't it?
it does. Low mileage. As a matter of fact, it's a new. It hasn't.
It's brand new.
It hasn't been off the showroom floor. Mike, speaking of the Utes and such.
Yes. It's that time of the year again.
I guess it is.
It's time for Jamboree on the Air, or JODA. Jamboree on the Air is an annual scouting event that connects scouts around the world with the use of amateur radio. The event is held on the third full weekend of October each year, together with Jamboree on the Internet. Jody, I guess. I didn't know about Jody until I read this announcement for JODA. But it kind of makes sense with the Internet being so widespread around the world, and it gives a lot of opportunity to scouts to connect internationally around the world using the Internet as well as amateur radio, I guess.
I've got an actual email here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not an email?
Nope. Well, I got that
an
too.
actual email too.
Yeah.
He's in the same state, just not right here.
This is one actually printed on pulp here.
Kill a tree for it.
George, just wanted to drop a note of how you helped me solve my antenna problem. While transmitting FT8, I noticed my SWR was varying and the power out changing. It rolled back the SWR from SWR on the rig. He checked a few connections on the antenna. No luck. Then he thought about the coax, and he got out the Megger that he had bought after I showed one on the show many years ago. Sure enough, coax measured just over 1 k ohm. He has the Klein ET600, which he often uses for other measurements as well. With the cost of coax, it's nice to have another type of test to put the coax through while removing the coax, he found some water in it, changed it out, and now he's back on the air. 7-3. Thanks for the show and the great tips you give us. Good luck, John, W2GGY. Well, thanks, John. You talked about the Megger there. I've got a couple of them. I've got a Greenlee, which is really the better one, but, you know, this one has a certain nostalgia for me right here because this is the first Megger I ever
Put those
used.
towards me,
Hold
man.
on, hold on to those test leads, Tommy.
Yeah, he's already
Yes.
tried that tonight.
Yeah, here, put these on your tongue.
It has nostalgia.
This is, actually, it's a Navy surplus Megger.
Cool.
A Holzer and Cabot. You see these at Hamfest occasionally, but this one was in mint condition. I think I want to say I paid $50 for it. It only goes up to 400 volts,
Cool.
which is enough. Some of the newer electronic ones will do a kilovolt. 400 is enough to do the trick, though. If we just spin the meter or spin the crank here, let it generate a little voltage, the lights will light up on it. We might see some meter movement. The probes aren't hooked to anything right now. They're just sitting loose there. Meter didn't do anything. Now here is just a dry piece of cardboard. We'll just clamp it on there. See if the meter does anything now. You probably couldn't notice
I
it
couldn't
there.
really see it on
It moved up just a little bit.
Air.
Oh, I see it.
That's all right.
Not much. That was something over 500 megohms. I got another piece of cardboard. I got a little bit of water on this piece of tissue here. I'm just going to wipe it on one side of that cardboard.
Could just spit on it.
Blow on it. Now verify, Tommy, that cardboard right there, it's almost dry,
Yeah.
correct?
It actually looks dry.
Hook us up there.
No funny business. Get your hands back. Drop the crank and stand back.
Hold on to your butts.
I was wondering if that ALTV viewer that had the issue with the coax and water coming out, if he bought the the coax hose combo from
that.
Hopper Freight.
See a little bit there.
Now it's steaming. Just kidding.
Discharge it. Just wipe it over one time again. Now you can see it's a little damp.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
If you wipe it very much, get it very wet, it'll come way on up there. That is how you check to see if you've got water in your coax or damage. Unhook it from your rig and your antenna. Just spin a little voltage up there on the Megger and look to see. If you read anything at all, you got a bad piece of coax. Either the coax is bad or connector's bad. There's really no other way to check for that type of thing.
So on the modern one, though, it'll kind of tell you how far the damage is where
No.
the problem is.
No.
It's either binary. It's either good or bad.
Well, no, it's however many megohms it is. And it should be infinite. If there's no break, it's measuring the breakdown voltage of the cable or whatever you've got it connected to. And on a good piece of coax, it should read infinite. Nothing at all. If you read anything, there's something wrong somewhere. The modern ones, they'll do like 1,000 volts. The one I have will, and it'll also do a timed measurement, so it can average it over a period of time, and maybe detect things that you wouldn't see with just spinning a crank up. But one like this will get you the results you want just about every time. The others are used, and this one could be too, for house wiring. If you're looking for a fault in house wiring, to check your ground system, you can do a lot of different kind of measurements with them. So they're handy things. Anyway, I didn't want to get too sidetracked, but he talked about a megger. I don't get a chance to use a megger that often, so
Every opportunity, you may as well seize it, man.
you can't miss it, man. If one comes along, you better jump on it right away. Email, you are in a different location tonight than typical.
I am. You might have noticed the background difference here. I moved out to Mississippi to join you and Tommy in the great state here.
And Mike's coming down next month, right?
Yeah, Mike's coming down.
I might if it keeps getting cold up here.
Yeah, the temperature is definitely changing down this way. I don't know if y'all are having some good days finally, but the hurricanes have also been chasing us around, and that's a little bit about what my segment is for. I had some things to do, George. I had I took some of your and Tommy's advice and picked me up one of
cool.
Intellitron's power supplies that was going to solve a space issue I was having in my Go box, and also something I use for my RMS WinLink packet gateway here. And because I moved, there's some things I had to do and take care of with that on the WinLink side, so that the locations and other things can get updated. So that's what I'm going to be talking about this go around, everybody.
Awesome.
Now, we know of your legendary frugality. Were you able to save money on that purchase?
You know, I was able to absolutely save some money on this purchase due to the great show of AmateurLogic.TV. If you use that code that's on the sites there that you put out in social media, you wind up saving some money. So I happened to have a need. I wanted a certain one, and they had it. And look at that. The AMTV code worked. That saved me some dough.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
Well, let's see what you've been up to.
So here we are, about 12 hours out from landfall, and I'm already well underway with preparations from emergency communications right away, or plan. So let's take a look at what that is for me. So as you might remember in previous episodes, Cheap Old Man, I've got my communications go bag, some batteries, and actually my HF through UHF rigs and antennas ready to go. So I have that inside in a safe location, and one of the things to note about that is it won't be deployed until after, if needed in the storm. I have made that antenna for the RMS gateway portable so that I can take it down when the winds get high, or put it inside in the attic or in the a garage or somewhere else where it's going to actually still work. But then deploy it out and go higher if need be and secure it. So the station is very portable, where I can move it where I need it. One of the systems, however, that I do have deployed already is my WinLink RMS packet gateway that serves about a 70-mile range within a repeater area here, our digipeater area over packet. So that is running, and we'll keep it running even if we don't have power out in the where I'm at. And the software, of course, that goes along with that, I'll keep running. And there's also an APRS-IS gate that I'm running that advertises our position. So I'll keep an eye on that as well. It's all connected to the same system here. So we'll definitely try to keep that going as part of our emergency communications plans and serving others as long as we can. Again, with an eye on response or thoughts of after the storm, who we can serve and how we can be part of that official relay station. Even though I'm sure since I've moved to Mississippi since that I'll have to update some of my section information. That's a new thing for me, or a recent thing for me. So RMS Gateway Station here, up, ready to go. Conditions are pretty mild for us right now, but it's picking up. They just upgraded it to a Category 2 storm as it goes onto shore in Morgan City, Louisiana. But yeah, you can hear some of the wind chimes and see the trees blowing a little bit more here in Picayune, but the antenna is still up. Well, if you choose to be a WinLink gateway or RMS gateway sysop, whether it's HF or VHF, whatever you decide to do, one of the requirements is that you let people know what's happening with your gateway through their services or gateway news blog, and they'll publish what's happening in your club or what's happening to your station. And in my case, recently I basically moved to a new location and had to put that blog on there. So it's a responsible thing to do, as well as keep it running 24/7 in a hardened fashion. So some of the requirements, if you ever choose to be a WinLink gateway operator, just to keep things going and be super proactive and communicate with people who might want to be using your systems. So it is something I did and learned. You also need to update your license information when you move with the FCC, so that your call and QRZ entries and whatever else services will actually be updated. So keep that in mind and have a good one. Of course, one of the reasons this is always a good thing to do before the storm, because they've already activated actually at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 or 8 a.m. my time, is to check in with them just to let them know you're here, so that they have a point of reference, especially for the people who are in the impacted area. And it's always a good idea to keep those channels that are two-way communication, transmit and receive, clear, so that the people in the affected area can get through. There's reflectors and other items where you can listen and monitor if you want to do that. So always a good service here. All right, let's see what we got here from Gigaparts. All right, I think that might fit the bill. Got some Anderson power poles and a smaller package. I ought to take care of my space issue I'm having. All right, let's give it a look here. See what the old trusted Fluke says about that. Meter looks good, 13.8 or so. The trusty handy dandy Fluke agrees, 13.8. There we go. All right, that ought to do the job. One of the other things I do here is I have a Pi 400 dedicated to weather services, the weather radars that I watch as it's coming in, as well as my own weather computer information that's receiving stuff from the weather system station that's outside, looking at the rains, and of course a NOAA weather radio, which you can already see we're in a watch area, and it's got really good signal here from NOAA, and I've already gotten several alerts on tornado watches, etc., and warnings. So always good to have that information where you can reference what's happening. Sometimes they ask you for information from your location about some weather conditions when you're checking in with them.
And we
That noise offset adjustment, that's pretty unique. I've never seen that before, and I'm just wondering, Emil, I know I'm putting you on the spot here because I normally don't read the instruction manuals until I can't figure something out. Just wondering if you had an opportunity to read the manual on that power supply and what the manual said about that adjustment.
Okay. Excellent question there, buddy. And it just so happens I did, because I wanted to know the same what was going on. You know, switching power supplies can create some noises with the way they do what they do. And their blurb on it is tailored to reduce noise, particularly for communications equipment. Any potential noise can be negated using the noise offset control. So that's about as far as they go into it. But maybe we could look technically into what's going on there with the way switching power supplies work.
I'm thinking it's changing the frequency, but
Yeah, I would think so. The conversion frequency by a little bit.
That should be easy enough to test.
unless it's very, very well filtered and we can't measure it.
I'm curious though if there's a slight variation in the output voltage when you adjust that knob.
I mean, if it's regulated, no, probably, maybe not. I don't know. It's a mystery.
Yeah, I don't have problems with noise with it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I haven't had to use that for anything yet. So, but one of the other things besides everything I just went through in my video that I ran across, guys,
Yeah.
is my my breaker box for the house. There's 400 amp service to this place here, and one of my 200 amp breakers decided that it didn't want to switch on and stay on anymore. So that switch is physically broken. I don't know if it's I know they're magnetic and thermal protection usually, but whatever that switch mechanism is, took a hit or got something, because this ain't cheap old man compliant. I can tell you that.
Nope.
It is not.
Can't
It is not.
you shim a piece of wood in there to keep it on?
I'm not going there, Mike.
Maybe a little gum wrapper.
Maybe a penny or a little bit of aluminum foil from your Wrigley gum you could stick in there.
But we did survive. I don't mean to make light of it, but we survived that storm. Francine was pretty mild for us, how far north and east I am away from the away from where it came in. Many people had it much worse than me, and of course, you know, the guys in Florida and North Carolina and all the other places that had the other hurricane coming through. They had it much worse than us. So,
Those main breakers. I'm just curious. Are they on the inside or the outside of your home?
Yeah, this one is in a box that's outside where the meter's fed from underground. In the main box, the power company's box is on one side, and this box with the 400 amp service is on the other side.
I'm not the only one who had an actual email this time
No,
around.
I've actually got one too, and it's a follow-up from one a couple of months ago from my friend Ray Murray, AI2S. It says, "Hello, Tommy. I was shocked when I heard my name and call sign when watching the last episode." Well, you shocked again, buddy. Had a few friends watching TV with me and decided to show them a site made for amateur radio. They were shocked with mouths agape when they heard my name and call sign. Thanks very much for making me famous. Hi hi. If we can increase somebody's street cred, we'll never miss an opportunity for that. So anyway, he says I've charged all my batteries. He last email was about the battery project that the picture's on screen for. He made the project. It was having trouble balancing it. So he said he charged all his batteries at less than 3 amps at 3.56 volts as I suggested. Then he made 2 packs out of the 4 in series, which you can see that's how I have mine configured right there. I made four doubles out of it and then hooked them all up to get the right voltage and current. So anyway, he floated them for hours. He's going to use it to power his K3 until the voltage drops, until the K3 shuts down, and check the balance. He made up some leads and a connector for each pack to charge him with the BMS, and when one pack's charging, or he'll charge one when the other one's being used if he needs to. But Yeah, like I said in the last email, I wish I'd have just got bigger cells and not paired them together. They works fine as long as your cells are matched, but sometimes they get off a little bit and could be a little bit of an issue.
Yeah.
But anyway, hope that it enhances your street cred, Ray.
Well, it's time to have the main celebration here tonight.
All right.
The thing that everybody's been waiting for.
We celebrating?
I didn't. What do you got there? Watermelon wine? Oh, that's Waterloo.
Ripple wine.
Ripple.
All right. We'll be right back.
At the end of each month, it's AmateurLogic's Ham College, the new show for those new to the hobby and those wanting to get into amateur radio.
Which of the following is a purpose of the amateur radio service as stated in the FCC rules and regulations?
That inductor and capacitor form a tuned circuit. That's how you tune the radio to the frequency that you want. The English language.
We lived in town. I liked it. I listened to mine a lot. It was really cool because you didn't have to have a battery to power it.
There's our homemade telegraph station. We can use it for long distance communications. Oh, like 3 feet here.
Across the table. The answer is B. Voltage was named after Italian physicist Alessandro Volta.
We can see we're generating a little bit of electricity there. It's DC.
It's always great to go back and get a refresher.
It sure is.
A lot of that stuff, if you've been a ham for a while like we have, you don't really think about a lot of that stuff that often.
They didn't have electric screwdrivers in those days, so that's why we're not using ones.
That's why we went primitive with it.
Yeah. So let's see if we can hear anything when we fire off our spark gap transmitter.
Oh yeah.
Well, we didn't build anything or blow up anything today, but
The night's still young.
well, the time has come to give away this prize package. We're going to talk about it briefly before we give it away.
It's time for a drum roll.
Not yet, but we're very close to it. Let's talk about what we're going to give away here, though. First thing up is going to be the ICOM IC705 HF 6 meter, 2 meter, and 440 megahertz multi-mode portable transceiver.
My favorite radio.
Base station performance and features in the palm of your hand, whether you're taking your hobby to SOTA, POTA, or some other on-the-air location.
SWOTA.
The ICOM IC705 is your go-to rig. From HF to 50, 144, and 440 megahertz, you can enjoy a variety of bands in the D-Star, DV, SSB, CW, RIDI, AM, and FM modes. The IC705 receives continuously from 30 kilohertz through 144 megahertz, and you can also enjoy the FM broadcast band as well, and the air band. The IC705 employs RF direct sampling, where RF signals are directly converted to digital data. Real-time spectrum scope and waterfall display.
Yeah, and you can see it right there. It shows you the spectrum. You can see signals and basically just, well, kind of going to encroach you to the next topic there, but you can touch them to tune to whatever you're listening to. And it'll really spoil you once you get used to using that.
So it's a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen display. WLAN and Bluetooth technologies.
It does. The Bluetooth stuff's great for headphones. Like I used it in field day. Put the Bluetooth headset on.
Yep.
Walk around, talk on it, transmit.
And the wireless LAN. What?
Wireless stuff is it's pretty cool. You can do a lot of things with. You can operate digital modes. You can set up a terminal mode on this, like I've done before on the AmateurLogic segment. So
Okay.
you do D-Star without having a hotspot.
GPS functions.
Yep, it's got a built-in GPS, which is not working in your Faraday cage studio here, but it works for D-Star. You can use it for
DPRS, is that what?
GMRS. It's kind of like it shows up on the APRS network, but it goes through D-Star to get there.
Cool. A micro SD card slot.
You can use it to update the radio. You can actually use it to update the firmware. You can store your settings. You can record your QSOs. A lot of cool stuff with it.
Let's see. Micro USB connector on there.
Yep. I'm not going to spin it around, but you can use it to hook it up to your laptop or whatever and do digital modes because the radio will show up as a sound card. You can use it to power charge the battery also.
And D-Star functions, and those work on any band, is that correct?
It's got the repeater directory for DR mode and all that stuff in here.
Near
like
me
all of them.
repeater as well.
Yeah, that actually takes advantage of the GPS.
Programmable speaker mic.
Yep, really nice little speaker mic. This is not your little cheap plastic flimsy speaker mic like you used to get. This is a good heavy mic. It's got a little weight to it. It's good feel. Sounds good. And you can program the buttons on it, which I haven't really programmed mine, but you can do that if you want to.
And this compact radio is rugged for outdoor use in a small, lightweight package. And it weighs approximately 2.4 pounds. In portable mode, the IC705 has a maximum output power of 5 watts from the included BP 272, and that lasts approximately 3 hours. And it's perfect for QRP as well as QRPP operations, which is 0.5 watts. Now, once you set up, though, you might want to connect 13.8 volts DC, and you'll have, 10 watts?
10 watts.
Okay. And there's other accessories that are not included in the contest here, but they make a number of accessories for the IC705. You got some of those, don't
Yeah,
you?
they do. They've got the backpack, the LC192 backpack here. I've got mine in. Your radio can go mount into the top up here, just like mine.
And it's bolted in there, so it won't fall out.
Yeah, there's a 1/4 thread on the bottom, and it screws right into the bottom of the radio, so it keeps you from falling out.
Okay. And you've got the optional AH705 as well.
Probably come over.
And something that somebody might want to add to theirs if you're looking for an automatic antenna tuner.
Yeah, this the portable antenna tuner is available for it. It's works off of AA batteries. It's a latching tuner, so once it's latched, the batteries last a long time. It's not constantly draining the battery.
And there's optional and free software for the PC, iOS, and Android as well. So, what more could you want from a QRP or a portable rig? I don't know. That's got everything.
It is. I've said it before on here, and I'm gonna say it one more time. But it's actually, if I had to get rid of all of my radios except for one, heaven forbid, that would be the one that I would pick to keep because it does everything.
And if you had to get rid of all of them, you would give that one to me.
If I had to get rid of all of them, I would, but that's not going to happen.
Okay. Look, a fella can try.
Yeah. Your friendship only goes so far, right?
Yeah. Maybe I will it to you.
Let's talk about this right here. And I know a fellow who just bought one of these, the other model, different connectors on it. Emil, can you tell us something about the Intellitron PS2230 MLB?
I think I can, George. So the Intellitron PS2230 MLB is a cutting-edge switching power supply that boasts high efficiency and a compact, lightweight design tailored to reduce noise, particularly for communication. Any potential noise can be negated using that noise offset control. Features such as voltage preset knobs and illuminated meter enhance the overall usability of that power supplies. Some of the key features of it is that it's lightweight, easy, portable, which is why I bought it, and the noise offset for eliminating the electrical noise, the illuminated meter for clear visibility of output voltage, and rugged construction for long lasting. Now, one of the things I noticed on mine is it's a 2-year warranty on that thing, so nice, good stuff right there.
Yeah.
It feels really solid, like it is solid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 30 amps maximum, but it'll operate continuously at 20 amps. You'll want an antenna with that as well.
It's got an Intellitron PA2199S, HF and VHF mobile antenna. It covers 80 to 6 meters at 200 watts. It's got a PL259 connector on the bottom. It's right on my truck.
You can also get it with another connector. This one has
you
the
can, but
PL259.
this one's got the PL259 on it. Operates on 80, 40, 30, 20, 17, 15, 12, 10, 6, and 2 meters. Up to 200 watts. Maximum height is 49.5 inches. It's got a built-in machined PL259 connector, which looks pretty nice down there. The PA 2199 is the quick and easy way to go mobile, installing in minutes and covering 80 to 2 meters, as I mentioned, without swapping resonators or dealing with sensitive controllers. Simply choose your band using the unique tapped loading coil system, then fine-tune the whip length for minimum SWR. The PA 2199 is built tough, but light enough to install on a wide range of lip, trunk, pipe, and mag mounts and boot mounts if you're in down under. You can also use it as a portable antenna for MCOM or parks on the air, marine, and vacation travel setups as well.
We're playing limbo here.
Oh, okay. For a portable counterpoise, use a wire that's longer than quarter wavelength at the operating frequency and spread it out on the ground, or attach a coax shield to any large metallic structure such as a steel fence, metal railing, or walkway.
And you know, for $70,
Yeah,
that's a lot of antenna.
it is.
Mike, you're looking at one of these. Now, you're not considering the one with the PL259.
Well,
on the
I
end.
was thinking the 3/8, what is it, 24 threads per inch mount would be a little bit more rugged, but I don't know. The PL259 looks fairly rugged too, so
It's pretty sturdy.
I think it all depends on your particular installation method.
Yeah, I don't want to put. I don't know if it's. Well, it has a 2-year warranty.
Is it emil proof? That's what I want to know.
That's what I was wondering. You're gonna need to hook that up to the radio. So,
You sure are.
any suggestions?
Only the best will do with the Messi and Poloni Airborne 5 coax. And I think there's 25 feet in that length.
25, yep.
Yeah, and it comes with PL259s on each end, and those are what particularly caught my eye because they look like machined connectors.
Yeah, they're very nice.
They look really well made from what I can tell.
Got
It's
made a 19.
And it looks like
wrench.
they accept a 19 millimeter wrench.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Okay, very good. It's the same dimensions as RG58, but at 50 megahertz, its attenuation is 3.6 dB per 100 meter less than your conventional RG58U. It's perfect for direct burial and totally waterproof thanks to the PE carbon black tear-proof sheath that allows different kinds of outdoor uses. It weighs 1.4 kilograms less per 100 meters than RG58, and its incredible lightness will prove a great operational advantage and will ensure significant savings in shipping costs if you happen to be fortunate enough to go on a DXpedition. It's only 5 millimeter diameter, but Airborne 5 is made with tough aluminum magnesium alloy braid and boasts a superlative robustness and I'm not sure what they mean by the next word. Enviable? I don't know. Resistance.
And viable?
And viable, I guess that is. Yes. Sorry. Eyesight.
That's Italian, Mike.
Did it say fragile?
No.
It's not fragile.
Yep. No, it's not for Jilly.
Okay. Anyway, that Messi and Poloni is probably about the best, at least in my opinion, it's probably about the best coax you can buy. At least of late anyway.
It weighs nothing, but it doesn't even feel like there's wire in there, honestly. It weighs nothing.
Really get on the air with that, huh?
From the drummer.
Okay.
I was also noticing the connector's got O-rings back here.
Yeah,
Got rubber O-rings in it sealed up.
it's the good stuff.
It really is. Very nice.
And you get that in the U.S. from gigaparts.com, our friends over there in Huntsville and in Las Vegas. They've got something special for Amateur Logic viewers. We mentioned it earlier. I'll mention it one more time. For a limited time at checkout, if you'll use the code AMTV, you can save an additional 5% on products from Intellitron, Explorer, and Massey and Poloni. Just use AMTV at checkout and get 5% off your order. We have a certified customer here who just did that. Look at that smile. What?
A satisfied customer.
It's just so happy.
And you know his money is he's
Sacred.
difficult to part with.
Yep. Drum roll, please. W2KRT. And that is
Kenny Talaricio. If I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. But
Junior.
congratulations
Yeah.
to you.
he's an extra class amateur from Wall, New Jersey.
Nice.
Yep. Congrats, Kenny. I can see he's in the chat room.
Is he in the chat room?
No, I was looking to see.
Oh,
Hoping he was going to
I don't
say
know.
something, if he was.
Anyway, congratulations, Kenneth. You're our lucky winner.
Yeah, Ralph said, what, no gold PL 259s? Those, they ran out.
Those are, I don't know if they were recalled or if there was just a limited supply. Probably the pandemic. That and conductivity put an end to
There's
those.
a lack of it.
Yes.
It was good to see you in there, Ralph. I hadn't seen him in there.
Yeah.
in a while.
Yeah, I noticed Ralph was in the chat room. I forgot to say hi to him.
Yeah.
Hi, Ralph.
So we'll be getting in touch with Kenny and letting him know right away that be expecting a package in the mail very, very soon.
Oh, I'm sure his hand buddies that are watching are calling him up right now.
You know it. Yep, so
You're
you're going to have
gonna-
a good time.
You're going to have a very good time with that. And if you don't believe me, there's a lot of people that have those IC705s now. And I don't know of anyone not having a good time with them.
It's a really amazing little rig.
Yep. We have Cliff. Well, he's right there.
Yeah.
Cliff
The
won one of these.
JTW.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Timmy over in Finland's got one.
He's got
too.
one. Yep.
A lot of people have. Of course, I think he got his old-fashioned way. He had to buy it.
Yeah, I think Tommy has one too.
Yeah, Tommy's got one.
A lot of people have them. I would like to have one. Now, you know me, I'm not a QRP kind of guy, just only in height.
Yeah.
Only, you know. So I need that extra power to overcome the
But
you
you know
the
what?
elevation.
You can do a lot with 10 watts.
Yeah, you can. Yep. And with 5 watts
5 watts. Yeah.
under the correct
But
conditions.
I usually use bring the little 12-volt 8-amp battery that I've got and hook it up to it.
Tommy,
You and I both worked field day once with only 10 watts.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little tougher than running 100 watts, but still made a bunch of contacts.
Yeah. Had a heck of a good time.
Yep.
you gotta do you let the professor use it, Tommy, at field day?
No.
Oh.
No.
I let him use my other battery.
Yeah, I do use that battery he built, the one we were looking at earlier. I do get to use that, and I put it to good use, and my 100 watts drained it down over the course of field day.
It was more like 200 watts. You had 2 rigs.
Well, I
running
did
off
have
of
2
it.
rigs running off of it. That's correct. Had one doing digital modes, but that was only 35 watts.
Okay, it's 135
Yeah,
watts.
but the duty cycle of
Yeah,
digital
That's what killed
probably
it.
make up for the difference.
yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it held up pretty good while. It
did.
lasted till sometimes Sunday morning.
Yeah. We want to thank ICOM and Gigaparts and Teletron for the prizes here for the contest. You know, ICOM's been very good to us over the years, especially each October.
Yeah,
They provide a radio.
Always step up for us. Appreciate them very much.
Great prize, and honestly, that's all I use. I've got a couple of old off-brand radios. I say no, they're actually one of the big three, but my go-to radios are all ICOM, and it's not just because they're a sponsor of the show. I really do like them that much, and once you learn one of them, you can operate any of them.
Yeah. I love mine. All of them.
I gotta say, the innovation that's come out of ICOM in the last 5 to 10 years has been kind of mind-blowing. Some of the products they've come out with.
Well, yeah. The IC7300 was a game changer. And
yeah,
I think
and the 705 is a game changer too.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the 705 has outsold maybe the 7300 by now. I don't know.
I don't know, but
still selling pretty good.
I think those two are probably their best sellers.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, they do a lot for the ham community too.
They do.
A lot.
When you're looking at things like Yoda and some of the other events, ICOM's the one who's sponsoring those. You know, they do a lot of stuff that the other companies don't really do. So kudos to ICOM. Thanks for all that you do for
and
the
thanks
radio community.
To Ray too, because he's the man. He's the man behind ICOM as far as I'm concerned. At least over here, anyway, on this side of the pond.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The quality is second to none.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the difference for me.
Yep. Definitely. And the features are there too. Well, I guess that's going to wrap up 19 years.
Starting on 20 tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wait a minute, didn't you? Weren't you supposed to have a toast of that famous wine you have that comes out of a can?
The Welch.
Yeah. The Concord grape wine.
It occurred to me, but I just didn't have time to run by the grocery package store.
We're gonna have to do that next year for sure.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that for Christmas or New Year's. Wow, it's hard to believe 20 years, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah, and congrats again, Kenny. That's super radio. You're going to like that.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be a really happy guy when that stuff shows up.
Yeah.
Sure, he's probably happy down just knowing.
And thanks to all the AmateurLogic viewers. Y'all are the ones who keep us going and enthused about doing these things and looking for new and different ideas of stuff that we can show. And there's a lot of times there's projects we would not otherwise do.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to see them. So
a lot of the segments done kind of suggestions from a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Keep those coming too. Actually, it's kind of nice. So it's helpful.
I was gonna say that's how I made it here. So thank you, Tommy and Professor, for accepting me and taking that first video. We never looked back since.
Nope. We were kind of afraid to. But now let's see, that was a PVC tower, wasn't it?
That PVC tower made it until the very final day at my old house. Never had a hitch. I took it down 100 times in hurricanes. It made it through standing in hurricanes. On the top of that thing was ICOM's disc cone, which I still have out in the back. You saw it in the video.
Yeah.
I thought that
That's a great antenna, man. Stainless. That thing doesn't have a spot of rust on it, and it's always out there. Yep. But that tower, that PVC, George, still kicking. I brought it with me. It made it here, but it's in the garage.
So it could make an appearance yet.
It could go back up.
I would have been concerned about the heat down in the south there, kind of warping that PVC tower.
Schedule 40 PVC makes it through all of that.
Schedule 40. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty heavy duty.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, you might want to check it with your megger before you put it back up, but I suspect it's good.
All right.
And John, K2BAG just reminding us there.
Oh, John's in the house.
We missed, the ceremonial glass of grape juice tonight and the toast, but he says when we get to the 21st, we can enjoy an adult beverage.
Yep.
One more year.
One more.
Well, actually, over here it's 19, so we're good to go.
Okay.
Let's go to Canada.
Is it really?
We can have some beers.
19 is the age of majority up here.
Okay.
Yay.
It used to be 18 here. Actually, I think some people were okay at 16, but
Well,
before we
thought
get
they
out of
were.
here, any final thoughts, Tommy, for 19 years and
Nope. Congrats on hanging 19.
yep. Email.
Well, stay alert. The hurricane season's almost over, but not quite yet. So you guys keep your ears and eyes peeled. There's some X's down in the Atlantic in the Gulf as we speak. So we're not going to let our guard down. And God bless everybody who was affected by the ones that have already come through. So stay safe.
Mike, any thoughts from up there?
So I guess what you're telling me is the fiber internet works better if you get it hooked up.
Yes.
Yeah, if that's the way your signal's coming in, yes.
That's the way we do it down here in the lower 48.
So you're saying I shouldn't leave it just coiled up
It's,
by the?
it's not helping running out on the sidewalk. out
No,
there.
it needs to be terminated into a router
Okay.
or a modem of some type. Whatever it is they use for fiber. I don't know. AdTran? I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever they call it. One thing we want to remind you about on the way out, and that is, what is the name of it now? It's the Logic Net.
Yep. It's coming up this coming Tuesday. It will be my anniversary, October 22nd. So I won't be on this one for sure.
And that's every fourth Tuesday of the month.
Every fourth.
You can join in on just about every digital mode
Yep. So
known to mankind.
So if you got the old list, it's changed a little bit. So you
Yeah.
might want to make note of the new list so you can be sure to get in.
Yeah. Look at any of the Amateur Logic social media sites.
Or the anti-social media sites.
Either one. Either one. I'm just going to say thank you to everybody who's enjoyed these shows over the years. We plan to continue on a while yet. At least our goal right now is 20.
Then there'll be 21 after that.
Yeah.
Eh?
That's legal drinking.
I can't hear you. Speak up a little louder, please.
Yeah.
As long as you guys keep watching, keep commenting, let us know that you're enjoying what we're doing, we'll probably keep on going. I don't see any reason to stop. It's worked for us this long.
It has. None of us have been injured.
We didn't have
That's
anything
right.
else to do.
And I always say I've been kicked out of better places, so.
Yeah. All right. 7-3, everyone.
7-3. Good night.